Hey everyone, and welcome to Coffee Morning with myself, Jayne Nicholls, and the wonderful Bobby Cappuccio. Man of little words, I don't think. So Bobby and I have been friends now for around a year, is that right, Bobby?
Jane, I'm very insulted. First of all, it's been at least 2 years. Second of all, it feels like I've always had you around. I can't remember my life before Jayne Nicholls.
I'm sure a lot of people will feel exactly the same. Now, what we're going to do over the next few weeks, every Friday, Bobby and I are going to be coming into your place of work or your home to have a little coffee with you and to change your lives, basically. Through our experiences within the fitness industry, we've both, between us, pretty much seen it, done it, I think, when it comes to travelling the globe and talking about grassroots level fitness. So the thing that we're going to discuss with you today is network marketing, huh, Bob? Yeah? You
Yes, Jane.
Keep up, Bobby. Stay with
I thought
me.
that was a rhetorical question for the group.
If we're on video, there is no such thing as rhetorical.
Well, I bet you watching this, Jane, there's going to be thousands and thousands of people sitting there going, yes.
So, flip back 10 seconds. Network marketing, is it huge in the States?
Jane, network marketing is over a $100 billion industry, which I understand is just a few thousand quid. But anyway, moving beyond that, it is exploding. It's getting bigger and bigger because of a couple of socioeconomic forces that we see emerging in the globe today. Now, before we even get into this conversation, because I don't know exactly what you're going to ask me, but I do know the subject matter that's going to be on, partly because you gave us a hint by introducing this as network marketing. I just want to state, I am not a network marketer. I'm not actively involved in any network marketing company, but I've watched a couple of the trends in network marketing. I've heard some of the editorial perspectives on network marketing from multiple people in multiple industries, and I seem to have a couple of opinions based on the nature of what it is we do in this industry, and very important to people listening to this or watching this, how we as fitness professionals typically get paid and how we historically don't get paid.
Right, so one of my motivations for doing what I do is to make the typical fitness professional a better business person and earn more money by doing what they do so well. And it seems to me right now that everyone's looking for these new business trends, these new things to get their teeth into, but they don't see what's right in front of them, which is their skills of attracting a group, communicating with them as human beings, and making that person change. And isn't network marketing within the fitness industry something that people can capitalize on to make more money from the very things that they're very, very good at?
Well, I'm not even sure whether to start on what network marketing is, or if it would be more appropriate to start on what network marketing is not. And a lot of times when you hear editorials and opinions being given about network marketing, they're emotive in nature. They're not logical in nature, and sometimes they're divorced from reality. So first, let's take a look at what we're talking about when we talk about network marketing or networking. Back a few years ago, and more than a few years ago, a decade ago, Martha Rogers was rated by Business 2.0 magazine as being one of the top 100 business thinkers of the 20th century. And she said something that was very interesting. She said that the new marketing is not mass marketing, but one-to-one marketing or network marketing. Now, that was something that was astonishing for a business person to say over a decade ago in the age of mass marketing. But in the past 10 years, we've seen things like the Anderson and Enron indictments. We've seen the growth of such mega social trends, not technological trends, but more accurately social trends like Twitter, like Facebook, like LinkedIn, and the world and how we communicate and how we think and who we trust and who we no longer trust has been dramatically transformed. And we trust people who are in our peer group. We do not trust big companies anymore. We are bombarded with more sensory pieces of information in a day than our grandparents were exposed to in an entire lifetime. So there are companies out there spending millions of euros, dollars, pounds every single year to capture not market share, but literally mind share. So it's a war for our brain, and a lot of us are becoming more and more resistant to it, yet we communicate openly. We take advice from people on the internet, things like Yelp. If I want to go to a restaurant, that's the first thing I do is say, who's talking about this place? Or I go onto Facebook and I ask a question, and within moments I get a response from multiple people who I know very well, I've met or not met, but yet they're in my social network and I trust them. So last week I went to see a movie. It was a horrible movie, not even going to state the name of it. But if I went to this movie and if I liked it, I would go out and tell a couple of people. So if I went to see a movie and I thought it was the most, like Midnight in Paris, Woody Allen movie. I love that movie. So when I saw that movie within a week, I must have told 20 people, because you know me, Jayne, I'm a bit excitable. Out of those 20 people, I can guarantee you at least 3 went to go see the movie because I told them about it. Yeah. Now, did Woody Allen send me a check in the post? No, he didn't, yet he still benefited from my efforts, which is just sharing something that's benefited me with people who I care about or enjoy talking to. So network marketing, first of all, is something we do on a daily basis, and more so in today's world. When we talk about network marketing as an industry, it's organizations who have not constructed their marketing efforts around mass marketing, but rewarding the things that people do intuitively each and every day, so everybody within an organization benefits.
So can I ask you, let me take you back then, 2 things that you said. First, the word trust. You see, I perceive now that because of all the things you've mentioned, like social media, we've put our trust into the people that react to the questions that we ask. But behind that, there may not be a backup. You know, so if I come on and you say, is there a good restaurant in, or is there a good exercise for the quads? Mm-hmm. You know, I might come on and say, yeah, the squat's great for the quads. Or I could come on and say, I've created this fantastic new exercise for the quads. It's called a squat. And I'm just working on another exercise that might work there. I am the creator of this. This is all mine. And I am going to feed you now more and more stuff that is mine. Do you see what I mean? Who do we put our trust in? So when we network market, if you started to sell me some kind of cooking product, how do I know that you created that cooking product and that cooking product actually works? Do you see what I mean?
Well, that's a very good question. That is one of the concerns, to look at a balanced argument of network marketing. In any industry, you've got offerings and services and providers, the people that actually drive those economic engines that are very, very good and very competent at what it is they do. And then on the other end of that, Jayne, you've got complete twaddle and total crap being put out by people who are not competent. And I don't think network marketing is any different. I mean, I used to work a little bit within the free enterprise community. And you would have people who were compensated selling everything from telecommunication services to selling things around real estate, water filters, to supplements. Some of those organizations were very good, had a lot of efficacy behind them, had the right leaders in the organization. And others were selling super juice. And, you know, I used to listen to these people in these meetings, and they would say things like, well, oh my God, I'm selling this juice. And, you know, it's made from this berry that you can't buy at the market because the purity of this berry can only be found by traversing the most remote reaches of the planet. And we found it under a rock. And my dog died last week, and we gave the dog some juice, and they came back to life. It was a resurrection.
Get back on track.
What?
Get back on track.
Well, I'm on track because you think to yourself in these meetings, can these people read and write? My God, what absolute insanity. The next thing that they're going to tell us is like they're wrapping aluminium foil around their head and waiting for the spacecraft to arrive. So you're in meetings like this, and you're saying, these are people who have a lot of emotion, without a lot of reason. They're excited for excitement's sake. So with any organization, you've got to do your due diligence. Because if you were going to work for a traditional company, would you agree, and this is rhetorical, Jayne, so you don't have to answer this, but if you're watching this right now, would you agree that certain health club chains are of higher quality and integrity and provide a better experience for both employees and members than others? Now, if you're a reasonable person, you have to say, yes, organizations vary in the quality and the value they offer to the marketplace and to the teams that make up these great organizations. So if you were going to work for a traditional model, would you not do your due diligence and say, is this an organization that I stand behind? Is this an organization that I would attach my reputation, my sweat equity, my efforts, my future with? You would do that with any organization, because if you don't, you might wind up trying to perpetuate something that doesn't make someone's life better and might actually waste their time, energy, money, and destroy a relationship.
So, what do you think are name a few network marketing companies that people might recognise, might perk their interest?
Yeah, I'm reluctant to do that, Jayne, because like I said, I'm not actively involved in any network marketing company. Okay. And one thing that I believe in strongly is that if people listen to me, and some people do, and not everyone does, but if people listen to me, I trust them to make their own decisions. I neither endorse or not endorse any network marketing company. Right. So I don't want to mention a company and it comes off like an endorsement. What I would do is say, if somebody's interested in augmenting their income, and we could talk about how network marketing does that in a way that's unique to traditional fitness models of employment, I would encourage them to do their due diligence, to check out, one, the compensation plan. How do you get paid? Number two, who's involved in the organization that you yourself would want to emulate? And I had a friend of mine, his name is Robert Butler, and he wrote a book, Street Smart Network Marketing, years ago. And we had met at a resort in Scottsdale, Arizona, at a conference years ago. I said, Robert, if I was looking into a network marketing company, what are some of the questions I should be asking myself? And what he said, I found, was the epitome of integrity, and it was really not genius, but it's really common sense, which often is not common practice. And he said, Bobby, what you would do is you look at a product and say, right, if there was no compensation plan attached to this, could I get excited about using this in my own life? And could I get excited about recommending this if there was nothing in it for me? And if the answer's no, wrong company. Might be a great product, might be a great comp plan, you might have great leadership, but you yourself are doing it purely for financial gain, and that very rarely works out because so many subtle nuances of communication when you're sitting across from somebody fails to communicate that you have their best interest in mind. People are a walking lie detector by the time they're 21, probably even 14 in this society. So that's a couple of things that I would look at if I was interested in a network marketing company.
I think that's really, really important what you've just said, because to conclude our coffee today, network marketing is a fantastic opportunity for the fitness professional. And in network marketing terms, they call it a circle of influence. I've learnt that recently. And we have that exact circle of people to influence. So number one, really, you've got to know that the product and the company that you will go networking has a backbone, has a history, and has a lineage, really, of quality. And number two, I think what else is important is you've got to believe in it yourself. So you've got to have tried the product, enjoyed the product, benefited from the product, and the key thing that we always talk about, which is what we do, you have to love the product, because you love the people that you're going to be networking it to. So if it's a mutual love, it will help to sell whatever it is that you are basically the shop front of as your network.
Yes, and one thing I'd like to add to that is try to disprove the product. Try to do your research on why the product doesn't work. Because for me, this is just the way my mind works. I know I can talk myself into anything, as most people can. So if I was interested in using a product or promoting a product, the first question I would ask is not so much why does this work, but why is this absolute rubbish? And I would go out and try to prove that the product lacks efficacy and is useless. And if I cannot do that at the end of my due diligence, that reinforces my faith and my confidence in the organization and the R&D and the manufacturing of that product.
Right.
And before we close, I just want to share a story, very short story, about why I started looking into alternate streams of residual or reoccurring income for fitness professionals. I was at a conference many years ago that I was actually speaking at this event in Vegas, and one of the participants just hurt her knee in a reactive neuromuscular training drill that another presenter was leading. It wasn't any fault of the class. These things just happen sometimes. And she was on the side, and we happened to have an orthopedic surgeon at the event who was also presenting. He came over to evaluate her and said, you know what, I'm not sure, but based on my assessments, seems like you tore your ACL. You're going to need to get yourself some medical attention. She started bawling, which is a curious reaction. I mean, granted, you tear your ACL. Nobody's ever happy about it. But this woman was destroyed. He's like, oh, it's all right. We can repair it. She said, it's not the ACL. She said, I'm a group exercise instructor, and I have, I just run my own business. I train in multiple facilities. If I have an ACL tear, I can't work anymore. So her income for maybe months in her mind was shot, and she had 2 kids. Mm-hmm. So to me, I got empathetically terrified for her. I started thinking, you know what, the only way this woman can make money is if she trades hours for dollars. Yeah. The second she cuts back on classes, she cuts back on income. Now, she can hope that these organizations will pay her a greater and greater income every year as her following grows. But even in that situation, the second she cuts back on classes, or God forbid, like in this case, she's no longer able to teach, she's no longer able to earn. So you got to think about, am I making money when I'm sleeping? Mm. So do I work for money, or does my money work for me? And if we're in the former rather than the latter, no matter how hard we work, how many hours we put in, it's impossible to get ahead. So we're going to be working as the cost of living goes up more and more and earning what seems to be less and less. And a lot of fitness professionals, a lot of physicians actually in the States that I've spoken to in the past couple of months are in that same exact position. So you have a choice. Like Robert Kiyosaki says within his quadrants, you can be an employee, which means you trade hours for dollars, and the people on top of you will always be making more money than you. I love how people call network marketing a pyramid. Like what? You mean the people at the top make all the money, like the CEO, and then you have the executive vice presidents, then you have middle managers and the employees. That sounds a lot like a traditional corporation to me, doesn't it? Eh? And you could be an investor and take a look at what's happened in the economic downturn since 2008 on the global stage. Wow, that's not too certain, is it? Or you can go ahead and be an entrepreneur, and you can open up a small business and work it every day. And at that point, you have to ask yourself the question, do I own a business, or does my business own me? Because you might be your own boss, but you're still in a situation where if you stop working, you stop earning. And the Small Business Association in the United States points out that 95% of all businesses fail. And the vast majority of those businesses fail not within 5 years, which is 95% of them. They fail within the very first year, and they usually require substantial capital investment. Or you could start a major corporation and have thousands of employees and lots of tax benefits. Well, most of us are not in that position where we can start a major corporation. We're not going to start the next Google. We're not going to be the next Apple. What do we do? The other alternative is to utilize an infrastructure and organization that's already been built. Take a look at how big it is. Some of these networking companies earn in excess of $1 billion a year, so you know they've got staying power. They're not likely to go anywhere. And you can utilize, as you said, Jayne, your skills, your efforts through their system to get paid the way a big corporation would get paid, which means you are full stop for the first 2 to 5 years. And then you're in a position where you can earn money while you're sleeping and claim back some of your freedom.
Yeah,
Pretty interesting.
that woman resonates with me. I mean, I don't ride horses, I don't go skiing, and I don't walk under ladders, just in case something breaks and I can't jump up. I mean, I've got a business, but jumping up is what we do. We jump up in front of people, and I think every person listening to this will completely get what you're saying. Just because we jump up for a living does not make us incapable of reaching the top of our own pyramid. And I think that's where... Is your coffee cold?
I finished my coffee. We actually have to rename this, instead of Coffee with Bobby and Jayne, Coffee with Two Ravenous Gluttons. What you think?
I'm on
I like the sound of that.
So next week we'll be having live coffee, won't we? Because we're in San Diego, which I can't wait.
Oh, that's going to be brilliant. Coffee in San Diego.
Yeah, live coffee with Jayne and Bobby next week at the Idea Convention. So thanks for joining us for our first coffee morning. Thanks to Bobby. I'm sure, like me, you could just listen to him all day. But we're going to be back with loads more incentives for you guys to get out there and be better businesses. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, Jayne.